Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to a new video. So today we are looking at the January transfer window. It finished around a week ago now. We're basically going to have a look through of all the teams, all the transfers that were made in the Premier League. I did one of these back at the end of the summer transfer window and it went down relatively well, so I thought I'd do another one. I actually did two because I missed players out and had to do it again. So hopefully this time I won't miss anyone out. And yeah, there's 20 teams in the Premier League. I don't want this video to last forever, so hopefully I won't take too long. Mainly looking at the main big transfers for each team if they've had any. Yeah, let's just jump straight into it. We may as well start in alphabetical order, so looking at Arsenal first. Obviously they lost Sanchez, but they brought in Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan. Aubameyang they've been linked with for a while now. They finally got him. He got his debut goal against Everton when they won 5-1, and Mkhitaryan got a number of assists in that game as well, so very interesting to see how these guys do in Arsenal's chase for a Champions League spot if they can get it this season. They've got Tottenham at the weekend, so that'll be a good test to see how these new players perform in a big game. Bournemouth, I think one of, if not the only team to not really strengthen their squad. They had a player returning from loan, grabbing from Sunderland, but didn't add to the squad. Eddie Howe was obviously happy with what he has, or maybe any transfers he hoped to get he didn't get, but I think Bournemouth have got enough in them to stay up this season, and then they can reevaluate in the summer. Brighton did a few deals. They brought in Aloha. Brighton's problem is they haven't really been scoring enough goals. Aloha obviously was actually at Brighton, went to Leicester, gone back to Brighton on loan, and they also brought in Lacodia. He is from PSV. They paid 15 million, I think it was, for him. Very decent player. He's a winger. Pushing for that attacking option, you know, and again, it's another team who are in that bottom half, trying to avoid relegation, so hopefully these players can do it for them. Burnley, we know, have had a very decent season so far. Their form had dropped off a little bit, but they did get that draw with Man City, which was very good. Aaron Lennon, who's been around in the Prem for a long time, and he's definitely an option for them, and they brought in Nkudu from Spurs, defender, just adding to the squad, but like I said, Europa League, maybe? I don't know where Burnley are going to hit quite yet, but very decent season from them, and I'm sure they'll continue it. Chelsea, obviously, they brought in Barkley, Giroud, and Palmieri, the left-back from Roma, who was maybe coming with Jekyll. Obviously, that didn't happen. Giroud, option up front. They've had the striker issues, you know, they got linked with Carroll and Peter Crouch and all sorts. I think Giroud's a decent player. Whether he'll get all the goals Chelsea really need, I don't know, but you never know. And Barkley, it's another option in midfield, but we know Chelsea are having a couple of issues at the minute. We have no idea what's going on with Conte. He could be gone, for all I know, in the next week or so. So, not amazing from Chelsea, but Champions League, they should still be getting Champions League. And again, they've got the summer to work it all out and bring in any more players if they want. They might have a new manager by then. We don't know. Crystal Palace, another team adding to the squad. The main player they brought in was Sirlot, striker / maybe winger, but ideally they've got a lot of attacking options. Crystal Palace, you know, Zaha, Townsend, Benteke, yeah. They've got a very decent little team there. I don't think they should have any problems after how they started the Premier League as well. Remember that? Yeah, very decent signing for them. Everton, we know, had a very big summer for transfers, and they've brought in a few players in the January. Obviously, Theo Walcott looks like a very decent player. He's got 3 goals for them already. Mangala on loan from Man City did not have a great game in their 5-1 loss, but I mean, no one at Everton had a great game in that game. And Tucson from Besiktas got plenty goals over there, so obviously Everton are hoping he's going to get some for them as well. Huddersfield, a couple of players. Congolo from Monaco on loan, defender, helping with the defensive duties for Huddersfield. You know, they're down at the bottom at the minute, so they want to be pushing out of there. Alex Pritchard from Norwich, undisclosed fee. I think it was, how much was that? In the region of 12 million. Centre mid, attacking centre mid. Again, it's more options. You know, Huddersfield want to stay in the Prem. No one really wants to see, you know, the underdog from last year coming up go down. They've got some work to do there. Leicester brought in 2 young players, Diabate and Callum Wright. Diabate, if I'm even saying that right, scored twice in his debut for Leicester in the FA Cup, so good start for him. 2 young players. I mean, Leicester's team is pretty much set as it is, I'd say. Obviously, the Mahrez scenario didn't go through, so hopefully they can sort that out and he can get playing for them again. But yeah, I don't know what Leicester are pushing for this season. I don't think they're going to obviously get Champions League, but still they're going to have a high finish up the table. Sort things out in the summer if they need to. Liverpool, obviously the main one was Van Dijk from Southampton, 75 million-ish for him. Obviously they've got amazing attacking options already, so the big thing was to strengthen the defence. Van Dijk, very, very decent player, a lot of money for him. But hopefully he can sort out the Liverpool defence, or at least help towards that. Klopp said that he didn't want to go out and splash all of the Coutinho money, and I kind of understand that, because he even said that everyone who's selling him any players is massively inflated because they know Liverpool has the money to spend. So I think for now, very, very decent season for Liverpool so far. They're obviously hoping to finish in that top 4. I think they should, if they can keep up the form they've got. Keep scoring the goals. Hopefully Van Dijk can keep them out at the back. Man City, again, they had a lot of money spent in the summer. And I mean, did they need to buy anyone in the January? They really didn't. They were linked with Mahrez and so on. They're going for the quadruple still. They brought in Laporte, who I think a name has been rolling around for a little while now. Very, very expensive defender for them. But if they want to be winning 4 cups, you know, they've got to keep strengthening even if they are at the top of their game. So he should be adding something for their defence. Man United, main one for them again, Alexis Sanchez. All of this to and fro, and what's he doing, Man City, Man U? Obviously, he ended up at Man U. Very, very decent player. They're not Man U. It's unlikely they're going to catch Man City at this point. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very unlikely. And I also think it's very unlikely that they wouldn't get Champions League, and adding him in is a definite help towards that. So, yeah, what can I say? Swap deal for Sanchez. Obviously, he's on a lot of money, but very good player. My team, Newcastle United. So he brought in 3 players, all of which are on loan. Good in a bad way about that. We've obviously got Kennedy, who's probably looked our best player in the last 2 games that he's played. He hasn't played a full game yet because he's not match fit, so I'm looking forward to him playing every game all the time. Dubravka, the goalkeeper, Darlow and Elliott. They're alright goalies, but I think we did need that bit of experience from a new goalie, and hopefully he can bring that into the game. And Slimani on loan, he hasn't been playing yet because he's still partially injured. Hopefully he'll play against Man U this weekend, and you never know, maybe he'll get a debut goal. Slimani's transfer value was around 20 million, which I thought was quite a lot to pay for a player you don't 100% know what you're getting. So to bring him in on loan, see how he does for the season, and you never know, might keep him moving in to the next season. But all those 3 players enough to keep us up. I honestly think it's going to be really, really tight. I'm just praying that Slimani can come in and score some goals for us. And if Kennedy keeps doing what he's doing, I'm no doubt he'll get a couple of goals as well. Southampton have brought in Carrillo, the striker from Monaco. They haven't been having a great season so far. And obviously they need to add to that team if they want to make sure to make sure they are in the Premier League next season. We'll have to see how he does. Stoke, as you can see, have brought in a fair few players there. Obviously they're, again, not having a great season at the moment. The standout is probably Ndiaye. You might recognise him. I did from FIFA, believe it or not. 16 million they paid for this guy. Attacking centre midfielder. Yeah. A lot of teams are very much in and amongst it down the bottom at the minute, including Stoke. So 16 million. Hopefully he can keep them up this season. Swansea, again, another team down the bottom, but they have really pulled out the bag in their last few games. You know, they beat Arsenal, they beat Liverpool, and they've brought in Ayew from West Ham. Obviously, he was at Swansea, he went to West Ham, he's come back again. Very decent attacking player, so I'm sure they'll be happy about that one. Andy King on loan from Leicester, I also think is a very decent one. He wasn't really getting the game time at Leicester, but I do think he's a decent player. And I think it does really help towards Swansea attacking force, so if they can keep up the form they've had in the last few games, then they could easily push away from where they are in the league. Spurs, just the one name on there, Lucas Moura, winger from PSG. Obviously, there was the talk that Spurs didn't really spend in the summer to add to that Harry Kane, Dele Alli force they've already got going on. Moore is a very decent player from PSG. I'm sure he'll swing the ball in. Kane will score plenty more goals. It'll be interesting to see in the summer whether they go out and really spend, because there's obviously the chat of Kane, Dele Alli, like what's going on, are they staying? I hope they do stay in the Premier League. I hope they stay at Spurs, but I think Tottenham really need to add to it. They can't just rely on them forevermore. But Lucas Moura is definitely a good start, and especially for a January window purchase for around 25 million. We'll have to see how he does. Watford, a few players' names on there as well. Deulofeu is probably the standout one on loan from Barcelona. Very decent player again. Watford are doing alright, you know. They're not, again, I guess they are in that bottom half, but they're definitely near the top of the bottom half, as it were. And Dong on loan from Sunderland as well, just helping with those options, and a couple of other younger players too. West Brom brought in Daniel Sturridge as the standout for them on loan. Obviously he wants a place in the World Cup this summer, and he needs to get some goals, and he wasn't getting any game time at Liverpool, so he had to move away. He's chose West Brom. Very, very interested to see whether he can get some goals for West Brom and, you know, get them up that table, out of that relegation zone, and whether he can do enough to grab him a place in the summer tournament as well. So, interesting one to watch there. And to finish things off, West Ham literally brought in Patrice Evra today on a free transfer. I mean, he was world-class player 10 years ago for Man U, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do for West Ham. He's definitely got some gas left in the tank, and he's still a decent player. See how he does there. And obviously, João Mario from Inter Milan on loan as well. Decent. They made some decent signings in the summer that all haven't quite worked out for them, so it'll be interesting to see how these new players can help with that. And that's it, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. Obviously, I haven't had time to go through every team and every player in absolute detail, but it's quite a good overview. Let me know down below who you think's had the best January transfer window. Obviously, nothing as crazy as what will happen in the summer and what hopefully we'll have this summer as well, because transfers are always exciting. More exciting when Newcastle do something, and we actually did this January for a change. Yes, it was loans, but hopefully they can do us a job. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll have my predictions video out tomorrow night, and it's Man U at home at the weekend, so yeah, hopefully that goes well. Alright, thank you for watching. Catch you later.